Just made it.
Okay, I want to welcome everybody. It is June the 15th of 2023. And I don't see anybody new tonight. I didn't have any requests for the Zoom other than for the members. So we don't have anybody new, but say hi to everybody. Everybody's here. Thank you for coming tonight. And
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Just have a few announcements and then we'll get started on the comments. I don't know if you guys saw the latest change that we sent to you guys. I think I sent it to you all last Friday, in regard to artificial intelligence and what we're looking for, what we don't want to see. We don't want to see a picture that's totally AI. We're going to be talking a little bit about AI next week, in regard to what Photoshop is doing, and so we thought we need to come up with some rules about that, because it's so easy to do in Photoshop now, besides the other places where you can do a zillion other places you can do AI. So our altered reality category, which is a subcategory of assigned in general, is now going to come into play if you do anything additional to the image. So for example, if you do composites, if you do add something via AI, or you do multiple exposures, that is all going to be considered altered reality. Okay. Now, if you take something out, like a rock or a tree, or you take something out, we're not going to call that altered reality. We're only if you're adding something, and it's got to be your original photo that you start off with. So you can't create AI. A lot of AI is created via text prompt. We're not, because this is a camera club, we're not an AI club. We need to have that original photo to start off with, and it has to be your photo. And then whatever you do to it, that's fine, because we look at this stuff as art, not as a document or documentary type thing. But you need to designate it that it is our altered reality. And so if you're in doubt, call it AR, and it's going to be assigned AR, or AG or AAR or AGAR, so that we know if it's apparent to the judges that it is AR and it has not been so designated, then you're going to get counted down. AR is not, there's nothing against AR at all. But if you don't call it that, and it is that, it's obvious that it's that, then you get judged down. Correct, Jim?
Mm-hmm.
Good.
So
Yep. When in doubt, just put AR. It won't get, we don't count against you for that. But if it looks like just what Lynn said. Yep.
Okay.
What about
but you said something that's news to me. If you said multiple exposures, you talking about if you do like HDR exposure merging?
No, not that kind of HDR. I'm talking about, if you do multiple exposures, like if you take, 6 images and combine them, to do, whatever, like if it's something you could do in camera, then it's okay. But if it's something you're doing like in Photoshop, then that's altered reality.
Like sky replacement.
Sky replacement technically is an adding.
Yes.
So yes.
Yep.
Panorama?
Yep. That's AR.
Panorama is in camera, so no.
Nope.
That's not AR. So if it's something you can actually do in the camera, then you're okay.
Yeah. If you're adding something that wasn't originally in the photo you took, that's AR.
All right. Any other questions? All right. The procedure that we changed for the submissions actually went pretty well, except for poor Susan. Something happened with her email and it came too late. I really apologize for that, but everybody else got their stuff in on time with the new earlier date. We only got 2 from everybody except for Foam, who sent me 3, and I only used 2 of yours. So I sent you an email asking you what you wanted me to use, and you never replied, so I just picked 2. So other than that, I think everything went well with that. And Lee Wynn was our 3rd judge, and she jumped in and got the judge. She judged them because she had them done before the weekend, so that was good. So I think that's going to work out. And the judge for next month is going to be Karen. Okay.
Hey, Karen's
the judge for next month, and we will go over what you need to do. It's not that hard. Lee Win
Karen, where do we send flowers?
Lee Win said it was super easy, and and so Karen, you won't have any problem with it. So we'll get you through it, no problem. The assignments coming up, July is a telephoto or intimate landscapes, which Joshua's talk last month was all about that. So if you missed his talk, I recommend you go. I sent a link out to everybody. If you don't have the link, let me know and I will send it to you again. That is a members only thing, so it's not on the website.
What the heck?
Question about that?
Remember that it has to be reading the description on the website. It's got to be 200 millimeters or further out on a full frame, or 135 millimeters and out on a crop sensor. So keep that in mind. And I assume you don't want ones that have been cropped down to that, right, Jim?
Yeah, you want to actually shoot the telephoto landscape, not shoot something wide and crop into it.
Yeah. Okay.
Question?
That's the exercise of the assignment, is to actually shoot a telephoto landscape, not crop a telephoto landscape. That's you're only cheating yourself if you do that. You're not getting the benefit of what the exercise of the assignment is about.
A question?
Sure.
The cityscape allowed? As opposed
Why
to
not?
landscape?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Landscape.
Yep, we would accept that.
Lynn,
And then go ahead.
Lynn, I'm out of town next month.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Of course. It just came up right now this minute.
No.
Then Sylvia. Okay, Sylvia's doing it.
You
Okay.
touched the Sylvia.
Yeah, so all right. August is time lapse. And hopefully most of you saw Jim did a education night on time lapse last year. If you don't remember it, there was a lot to it. The description on the website for August actually has the link to the video that is all about time lapse. So this is going to be an interesting way. I don't know how we're going to have to figure out how the heck we're going to get those submitted, because it's not going to.
I can help you with that.
Okay,
Lynn.
yeah, because it's not something we can put into Lightroom. So actually, I think we can now. They just
Yes, you can.
They now changed it. Before you couldn't put videos in Lightroom, and now you can. So
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, sorry, Glenn. We're not doing a time lapse video.
yes,
That's-
time lapse.
That's what a time lapse is, Diana.
Time lapse is a video.
Time lapse is a video, Diana.
Ugh.
So yeah, it's a little complicated, but that's the point, is to learn how to do it. It doesn't have to be anything super long, just a few seconds, because it's
Oh,
going
yeah.
to take a lot of images to even make a few seconds. So, but
Is there
like I
a
said,
time
the
limit?
instructions are all in that video.
Okay, sir. A time limit?
Education night coming up is next week is Jim. He's going to be talking about syncing with Lightroom, which we talked about this a while back, but a couple of people have asked about it, and so we decided it was time to do a renewal. At the time we did it before, they had just started doing it, and they had just separated out Lightroom Classic and Lightroom Cloud and Lightroom Mobile, and it was like too many Lightrooms to even think about it. So now that we've all been dealing with it for a while, we're going to talk about it again. I'll also talk a little bit about the Photoshop remove tool, the new tool in Photoshop. We're going to take a look at the generative tool, refill tool in Photoshop Beta, which if you haven't tried, that's a lot of fun. That's the AI that they're using now.
Mhm.
And a
There's,
couple other things in.
There are some things it really does have difficulty with.
Yep. So they just did an upgrade. If you haven't noticed, Lightroom had an update 2 days ago. So they added a couple of little things, nothing great and awesome there, but there's one little trick that I think if Jim doesn't know about it, I'll show it to you. So
yeah, they even changed something in the cloud environment related to syncing with Lightroom Mobile and stuff, which which already threw a change into my presentation, because they just threw a change into things.
Great.
Speaking of my presentation, if you're going to be there for it, I'll give you a clue right now. One thing you might want to do because that is a complex topic that we're going to be covering, but I know a lot of people, want to find out about it and work with it. And there's some ins and outs and there's some complexities. Be prepared at the time to take some screenshots during the presentation with your computer. That'll be easier than taking notes. I was going to say you might want to take notes, but taking some screenshots on your computer, even with your phone, may be more expeditious than trying to write a note and missing something, or just go back and replay it. Replay it and pause it at the key points, or whatever that you want to make notes on. But it is a it is a complex topic as far as how the overall Lightroom environment works and synchronizes things.
And once you get it set up, it's pretty easy. There's nothing you have to do, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, all right. In July, we're gonna have a special presentation by Angie McMonagle. She is from Chicago, and she is one of the top architectural photographers in the world, and she's going to be talking to us about architectural abstracts. So, and she is really good. Jen knows all about her. So, she's going to be talking to us in July, and then August we are going to have an outing. In the last couple of years, we've gone to the St. Petersburg Pier, but later in the year we have a assignment which is night street photography. So we thought we would do a night street outing. So we're going to go to we're going to do it on Thursday night, and we're going to go to Ybor City. And those of you that have never been, some of you have been to Ybor City. We used to go, I think, on Tuesday nights with the meetup group, maybe some Thursday nights as well. And it's fine and dandy. We'll be in and out of there almost before it even gets dark. I mean, we'll be there for a little bit for the dark because it's night street photography, but we'll have more details about that a little bit later on. Just wanted to let you know that's what's up for education night.
Do you know where you're doing that, Lynn?
When? In
August.
We'll be on our education night on the Thursday night that we normally have, the fourth Thursday.
Oh, okay. Instead of having education night.
Yeah. Okay, Jim, you have anything else you want to add?
Can I talk about the subject for tonight?
Yeah, real briefly.
Yeah, just want to let people know tonight's subject was environmental portrait, and just so you know, some of the judging was related to looking at it as a portrait. Just remember, a portrait is something formal, something special you do for somebody. Portraits can be something that can be someone's keepsake for life, that can be passed down through generations. A portrait is not a snapshot that happens in an environment. A portrait is something that's done formally and seriously, in that environment, that shows that person off. Just want to let you know that's where some of the judging came into play tonight with understanding the difference between a portrait and a snapshot.
Okay, awesome.
So just wanted to throw that out there.
And Robert, you said you had something you wanted to talk about tonight?
No, I don't recall. I had something.
Donations.
Oh yeah. Okay, great. You're absolutely correct. I do want to say thank you to everybody who's even thought about making donations to the Camera Club, and because it has helped us tremendously to continue to get these speakers that we have and the parties. So if you ever find it in your some extra dollar bills in your bank account, consider donating in order to help improve our coffers to continue to bring on more and more of these high quality guests that we have. So thank you in advance, and I will let you know that I will be making my donation next week, and we thank all the people that have already made those donations. So thank you, and keep them coming.
Lynn, what's the best way to do that?
There is,
Make that
you go to our website, Richard, and at the very top of the second, if you hit the menu button up at the top, which is like the little box with the lines in it, that will take you to the second page. And at the very top, there's a button that says donate for educational speakers and presentations. So it goes right into PayPal, and you can make your payment that, just put whatever amount you want in there. So it's kind of like the button it's similar to the button that, where you pay the dues, but this is just for donations.
I do have one other quick announcement.
Sure.
For anybody that's interested, tomorrow for a good part of the day, I'm going to be at the studio. I'm going to be getting some stuff out of there. I've got several smaller Epson printers down there, a couple big Epson printers. If anybody's interested in taking them out of there tomorrow and giving them a home, if you want to check with me and see if I'm there, I think I've got a 1440, a 2880 Epson, some other Epson. I've got two 7900s if you want them. Gigantic, large format, $3,000 printers with rolls of canvas and rolls of paper. They're yours if you get them out of there. So, but yeah, I'll be there starting probably about 9 in the morning for several hours down there. Robert has laid claim to a Canon Pixma printer that I have down there with some ink, so I'm going to hold that for him. So, but I've got several Epson printers with ink down there.
Yeah, unfortunately, Jim has been him and all his co-building people have been evicted from the building, so he's having to move out. So
that sucks. What are they going to do with the building?
They're turning it into office space.
Of course. Duh. Why would we support our artists, even though that was what they were supposed to
just
be
kick all the artists out. They don't need to be here.
It's that's sad.
Anyway, anything else? Anybody else have any other announcements? Any questions or comments about anything? All right, let's go ahead and get started with the images. Again, have all been prejudged by all 3 judges. And so we're just going to go right straight into doing the comments right off the bat. So we will let me share my screen.
Who was the 3rd judge?
Lee Win. And can you see my, oops.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, we see it.
See my Lightroom? Okay. Okay. All right, Robert, how are you gonna be able to do this?
Oh, I'm at a park spot right now.
Oh, you're at the parking spot. Okay, that's good. Like, I don't want you driving and critiquing at the same time. That's not very safe. Okay. Our first one is Walkway Craftsman. And the photographer is Jack Metascalco. The score is 22.4. And Lee Win can pipe in, but so can everybody else if you have anything to say about these.
Yeah, I have a question for the artist. Jack, I'm curious. And it's just a point of curiosity. Your processing on this, that kind of heavy grunge look. What was your motivation behind kind of going with that heavy grunge look on this on the processing on this particular image?
Well, that was exactly what I wanted to do. I did give it that grunge look because he was kind of grungy. The photograph actually made him clean up a little bit, and I tried to put some of it back in. I chose black and white because it's a very cluttered surrounding, and I didn't want distraction from his grungy looking face, hair, hands, and body. But he's a hard-working guy that got real nice and dirty.
Yeah, I agree with your choice on black and white, and yeah, thanks for sharing your motivation behind that. I wanted to hear your artistic thoughts behind what drove you to that look in this image. Thank you.
Okay.
Where was that taken, Jack?
I'm sorry.
Where was it taken?
It was taken on a site where the construction was being made. It's a home not too far from where I live.
Really cool.
Where he's a fellow that I've known for years. This is what he does. He builds docks and walkways and decks and he's very skillful at it. But he really he's a throwback to the 50s. He's a hippie.
Robert?
Hey,
I don't get a sense of what he actually does.
Well, he's sitting on the walkway that he's building. I had him pose by sitting on the the walkway that he was building, and he's got a skill saw in his right at his foot that he was one of the tools that he was using. He's a builder.
What's the title?
It is Walkway Craftsman.
Okay.
Walkway craftsman. He builds walkways. He builds decks. That's what he was building that day.
All right.
I see a craftsman saw.
Yeah, well, I see a craftsman saw. I see a guy sitting on the on some wood in what seems to be in a jungle environment. So that's where my confusion comes in.
It's a heavily wooded area, and a walkway was being built for this walkway, a path, so people could walk through it and see it.
I understand. The portrait is very, very nice. I just don't get a sense of that this is an environmental portrait. I get more of a sense that it's a portrait of someone in an environment.
Really? You don't think that's an environmental? I mean, that's where he works.
Would it have worked better for you to have the saw maybe in his hand?
Oops.
No, it doesn't bode either way. What I'm getting at is that I don't get a sense that this person and that saw and that the boards are connected.
Oh, I disagree with that one.
Yeah, I disagree
I got it
with that too. I think it's if the chainsaw can be show up more.
yeah,
And then I like the 9 diagonal go that way. I mean, other part, and I like his facial expression there. I think the vignette is too much. And then the highlight on his that left shoulder, quite a bit of highlight on there. Yeah, but I think the chainsaw, if it can be show up more,
Circular saw.
yeah, because you have to looking for that. Right?
All right, we move on.
Yep.
Next one is Vintage Store Clerk. And this is Richard Edwards. The score is, got a problem here, is 23.1.
Now the vintage machine, the little bell, the setup in the back, and the composition is really, really nice on this particular shot.
This is doing
I do find that I wish that shirt behind them would have been placed in a different area. They're competing. The plaids and the stripes are competing with me. And I know that that's more of a styling issue, but the thought process behind it I think is executed quite nicely. Does that make sense what I just said?
Yeah, I agree with Robert. Overall, I like what's going on there for the environment, and that was the only thing for me too, was that vest, the plaid vest, right behind the subject of the portrait, intersecting there, and the line of the curved line where the arm would come through the vest, coming right out of the subject's ear there. That was a little harsh. The placement of that vest back there was I had the same issue as Robert with that.
I think that cash register is too overpowering. It's bigger than the person.
I agree with the cash register did not need to be so
prominent
much there. If it were cut into where like the 30-cent tab is put up, I would
enough to know what it is. Enough to know what it is.
Yeah, I agree with you, Leslie. It's it's pretty prominent.
Yeah, a little bit better.
I would say even a little tiny bit more, but that to me was the main issue. The vest wasn't quite as much to me, but
Another thought would be to have shot it from the person's right side with the register further away. In other words, the person would have been more
the opposite.
prominent.
Opposite diagonal angle.
Yeah.
This is really cool, but that's the problem. It's really cool, and it takes your eye away from what you're supposed to be looking at, which is the person.
Yeah.
All right, next
Yeah,
one.
it was prominent, but I was able to get past it. Yeah. But it is awfully it is prominent. But I had more of a problem with the vest than the cash register.
Is Richard here?
Yep.
Yep.
I decided to be quiet.
Okay.
But I agree with you about, I'm looking for things to be revealed to me as the photographer. And I agree with you about the vest. I thought about the cash register a couple of times. It's already cropped in a little bit, but I thought the cash register, I shot it from that angle because of the cash register.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed that you placed that bell in there as well, nicely as well.
Yeah.
I like the cash register being there. I just thought it was too much.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Next one is deck builders.
Except for the eye candy. Jack, see, everything works in this one.
This is Jack's, and the score is 24.5.
That's what I'm saying. Everything works in this one. The tools are there. The people are there. What they're doing is there. Even though the environment is about that of nature, they are building decks. They are part of the decks. They all look like they're builders.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind for the next time. I'll throw in a few more tools so you know what they do.
You submitted a version of this in the past one time, didn't you, Jack? That was the grunge version of this one.
You got a very good memory. That's
yes,
correct.
but I like this non-grunge version much better.
Right. Yeah, the grunge was a little bit too much.
Ladies, any comments?
I want to know where you go photograph these guys. Especially the one in the center.
I think I can get their phone numbers, Diane.
I don't want phone numbers. I just want to look. I'm not looking, and I'm celebrating my 49th anniversary with you guys. Give me a break.
Okay. If Diana doesn't want the number, I'll take it.
Oh my God, Robert! I'm going to tell Moen.
The fellow in the middle,
cheating on him.
The eye candy in the middle has a beautiful French accent. He's French.
Oh my God!
Oh, Doris,
make it worse.
Find out who he is. That's Jean-Pierre.
Jack, I live near you. You can send the address.
Okay.
All right, guys.
Thank you. Thank you for the comments.
Portrait extraordinaire. Okay, next one is musician. Musician on the road, and this one is Kathy Thompson's, and the score is 22.7. At first, I thought this was Joe Pembo.
Kathy, I don't have enough information about this guy.
You don't have what?
I don't have enough information about him.
Oh, okay.
What more information would you need, Robert?
Well, I don't know what more information, but what I'm getting right now is I got a guy that's in the back of his vehicle. He's not making eye contact with me. He's looking off to go somewhere else. I don't see any other musical instruments in the back of his vehicle or surrounded him. I don't get a sense that he is a musician, other than somebody's playing the guitar in the back of his liftgate.
Doesn't that make him a musician?
Not necessarily. No, it makes him somebody that plays the guitar in the back of a liftgate.
Isn't that a musician?
He was on his way. He was on his way to a concert, and he was in the parking lot on Thanksgiving morning,
And he got this guitar out and started playing for us. And
For us or for you?
what's that?
For us or for you?
No, it was Truman and I. We were just standing around, we were walking
So-
by, and he
And
started playing for us.
yeah, here's the question I have looking at this. It was the comment was made about no eye contact, and I agree with that. This, I took this as a more of a shot of a musician performing than as a portrait, of a musician in an environment. And your story you tell, kind of falls in line with, okay, you took pictures of him as he was performing. I don't see that there was necessarily engagement with you as a photographer directing this person, in a portrait.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
remember, it's supposed to be a portrait. So you still got that sort of got the environment down, but yeah, again, he's not even looking at you. So it's, remember, a portrait, they're connecting with you and the camera. So
a portrait really should really should have some engagement between the subject and the photographer or the audience. I did take this to be a photo, as you said, of a musician performing in a parking lot, as opposed to a portrait.
Okay.
next one is nature photographer. And this one is by Richard.
Ah, that's cute.
Score is 22.1. Delay there.
Richard, I have competing subjects.
This one will be there.
Yep. The other photographer is a huge distraction.
And unfortunately, he's also blocking part of the environment as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's obscuring the nature photographer's camera. You don't, and it's just distracting having that other. It looks like that other guy just accidentally stepped in front of the camera when you were pushing the button.
No, I took it that way. I wanted him in front. I think back of photographs I've seen of George Balanchine of him posed in the dancers blurred around him as part of the whole composition where he's
Well, that your title on this is that the person is a nature photographer.
Yes.
And yet you give another human being that's in front of them, giving me the impression that he's more of a portrait photographer than a nature photographer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The title can have an effect here, guys. Don't forget that. All right, let's move on to the next one. The next one is Ready Fighter One. And this is Tom's and his score of 24.1.
Yeah, this is definitely an example of what the assignment is about with an environmental portrait. There is no mistaking this environment and what this person does in the environment. And it is obviously a portrait. It is not a snapshot of this guy hanging out in the gym. This is definitely a posed and set up and created portrait by the photographer.
And he's also engaging.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. See, I think this is where a lot of us may have run into problems, and mine hasn't come up yet, but it was whether you do pose them or you don't. And
in a portrait, you absolutely pose somebody.
You have to pose them. Okay.
Yep. That's the difference between that's one of the main differences between a portrait and a candid photo. This was not candid photos in an environment. This was portraits in an environment.
Okay.
And Diana, you might not have been here, might have been when you were sick or whatever, but Jim did mention that before, that it couldn't just be of them doing it. So
thanks,
you might
Leslie.
have missed
Yeah, I may have missed that. Yeah, thank you.
Next one is the Teton Wrangler. And this is Kathy's. The score is 22.8.
Mhm. Yeah, we have that issue again where this doesn't necessarily have the look of a portrait. That this looks like it very well could be a guy riding by on a horse that, you know, had a snapshot made of him as he was passing by the photographer on a horse.
Well, these are the guys that wanted me to take pictures of them, and they were all big smiles and grins. And I told this one, I said, "You don't need to smile."
Mm-hmm.
That's what I got.
But if he'd been looking at you, then that
Yeah.
would be much
Yeah,
better.
he looks.
Yeah.
He actually looks deliberately disengaged. He
Right.
actually looks
Well,
like
he
he looks like
actually.
he's avoiding the camera.
Yeah, well, he isn't, but yes, he took that. You don't need to smile as, oh, okay, I'm going to be very serious about this. So
Next one is Taco Man. This is Lee's picture, and the score is 23.2.
Could I see that cropped up some from the bottom, Lynn?
Where?
A little more. Yeah, there.
He was just trying to include the whole window.
Yeah. There's some extraneous parts of the environment that aren't helping the image in the bottom part of that. Those wires and cables and things laying down there, you know, they really don't help tell the story of the Taco Man. In his, you know, you can still, even when you crop it up from there, you can tell he's in his food truck or whatever there, without needing to see all those, you know, those bundled up cables and things at the bottom.
Robert?
This is borderline for me.
Mm-hmm.
This is, I walk up, hey, look, I think I need a picture. Can I get one? I think in this particular case, inside the food truck, and Lee, you're really good at those wide angle shots inside the food truck, showing the environment, rather than someone just presenting. This it becomes more of a commercial imagery, more so than an environmental portrait.
Are you here? He was there earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just had to turn my microphone on.
Okay.
I mean, the guy makes tacos, and he was in a taco trailer.
Right. And
So if he
I did a portrait of him showing me the tacos he made inside his environment.
you can slap me next week when you see me,
Okay.
because I hear it. I hear your tone.
But would have been better if the guy had stepped back and he shot like a little more into the trailer.
It'd been better had Lee been in the trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't letting me in the trailer.
Right. What I'm getting at, you're asking me what would make the photograph more compelling, and I'm saying going up to the window gives me the feeling that, okay, hey, look, let me get a shot of you presenting me something, rather than inside where you see the burners, you see what's happening, you see how people around him are preparing the food, and you see him engaging with you.
Okay.
I would have loved to have, like Robert mentioned, this is okay with me, but I really would have loved to have seen this, you know, with a wide angle lens, you know, stuck through that hole.
How about a little bit more light on the face?
Yeah, I couldn't get any further just because of the equipment that was there.
No.
And there was no way they were letting me in the trailer.
And how long had you known this guy prior to this shot?
I just met him.
Right. That's
Well,
my
that's
point.
Robert, honestly, most of the photos in here are of people that they just met.
I'm not saying anything against what you're saying. What I am saying is that if you want a successful environmental portrait, then you got to do the work beyond what most people do.
Okay.
And you see, I lit up his face a little bit with a gradient filter.
Yeah, good job, Lynn.
Yeah.
It was a little dark. All right, next one is Shark Boat Captain. This one is Lourdes's, a score of 22.4.
It does have some visual impact. It's I couldn't find what was in focus though. It's not sharp. You got the original, Lynn?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shark right here.
Yeah. Click into the person on your original. That's the most resolution you have, is that?
Yeah.
That was all the resolution I had either, yeah, and I couldn't find that the subject was sharp. But I love the engagement, and I love the visual impact of this. The person standing behind the person that's standing behind there is a distraction. If in an actual portrait setting where you were directing this guy and say, hey, reach out, stretch out, you would ask the other person to get out of the way. Having the other person in the way makes it look more like a candid moment versus a portrait.
Robert, anything?
Yeah, I was going to mention about the person in the back. There is a huge distraction.
Yeah, and this orange bag kind of pulling my eye over here as well too. So could darken that up a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. The next one is store clerk.
All right. But what I want you to do is I want you to put your cursor on that water bottle and the phone on the right-hand side.
Yeah. This is Lourdes's, and the score is 22.6.
There can be such a thing in an environmental portrait as too much environment and not enough portrait. The person that this is supposed to be a portrait of, it almost vanishes into everything else that's going on there. They're concealed behind the register and whatnot. You could still very much get this environment. In fact, I know where this is taken, being much tighter on that subject. And not having so much in that scene that the subject becomes minuscule and lost in the scene. And as Robert was pointing out, there's stuff in there that's extraneous to the environment that is out of place as well.
Next one is Can I Get a No? This one is Lee's, and the score is 22.5.
Lee, help me, please.
She's a bartender. Working in her environment.
Okay.
She was posing for me in her environment.
I like the visual impact. I like the story. I like the expression. If she was actually posing for you,
she was.
Hang on for a second. Victoria, could you mute your mic? I'm actually getting some echo and feedback from you. Okay, all right, good. But so the question I have in that case is the hand stretching out in the front being cut through the bottom of the frame like that, the crop cutting through the hand and the fingers and the glove. If she was actually, if she was posing for you, could you not have gotten a better arm placement? That's what I was looking at, because when what I like, I see the face, the expression, the bar back there. I like that, and the visual impact, those sunglasses that say no, that's great. But I feel that hand being cut off like that right in the front was awkward and takes away from the fact that it looks like it doesn't look like it was posed if that hand was placed that way. Or is that just the way it was cropped after the fact?
I think I just tried to darken it down a little bit so it wasn't so noticeable, but This is just the way she had her hand.
Yeah, which is my point. If you were working with her and posing with her, you had the opportunity to do something with the hand.
Got it.
I mean, would it have worked if we had if he had cut off the cropped the hand off maybe a little? I mean, because it's like that.
No,
No.
Yeah, no.
I'd much rather see more of the bar.
Amputees.
Well, I want to see the bar and the hand.
Yeah, that's the bar is part of the environment. All right, next.
I can attest though to that she was posing.
The elastic was there.
I was there having a drink
Where's that bar?
downtown when we were all downtown that night.
Oh, that's
It's the one. It's the one outside next to Malio's.
oh, okay. The sail one with the sails.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Because that's where that lady was singing, Lee.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's cool. Thank you.
Okay. Next one is future linemen. Oops, wrong one. Hold on. Hitting the buttons too quick. This is called future linemen.
Now this is my own ignorance. Was that the original sky?
No, that was not the original sky.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, this is Jim's image, and it's the score is 22.7.
Yep, I looked at that and thought it was not the original sky, but I give you credit for the placement of that cloud, framing them in the sky you put in, and how you what you did with the sky that you put in.
How do you know? How do you know that's a fake sky?
Look at the especially the tree that comes in on the upper left side. Look at the way look at the intersection of the sky with that. It's full of artifacts that that.
Holy banana brain!
Yeah, you see, especially the bottom branches there, right? Yeah, right there where that hand is, right there. That's a dead giveaway of a sky replacement right there. You can see it on the trees on the right too. But
the reason that I had to replace the sky was there wasn't any sky. It was completely white almost. It was a very overcast day. There was nothing behind them. It took them an hour to get up on that pole just to pose for the shot. It's a graduation class for the lineman, and the guy at the third guy up is my brother. That's his class.
Yeah, I say the good. I like how you framed them within that cloud when you chose that sky to put in there.
Yeah, that I did. I moved the cloud around just to make sure that they were all engaged.
Could you show me those artifacts again, please?
Look at those. Look at the branches that stick into the blue sky right there, right there.
So if you had cloned those off, would you have still known that it was an artificial sky?
Yes, I would have.
Yeah, because of the look of all the trees on the other side too. That's just one thing to point out. But you can look at you can look at a lot of the things over there. A lot of the trees on the other side give it away too.
For future reference, would this be classified as
altered reality?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
And after today, we announced that sky replacement's altered reality. Absolutely.
Yep.
But that's the shot that I got, and it took a while to get that.
I would ask you to go back and make this into a toned black and white and leave the ball sky.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, this is
those chartreuse shirts are kind of like stick out like crazy, but still.
But it's a cool shot.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you're going to play with it, I would make it all black and white with the exception of the yellow shirt.
Well, for this particular shot, they actually put those yellow jerseys on intentionally. And, like I said, it is a class portrait, and they all got a copy of the shot, so that they could hang it on their wall or whatever.
That's neat.
Cool. Anything else, Robert?
No.
Okay.
I feel like at this point, Lee is not going to serve me any kind of good coffee anymore.
I'm thinking he might beat you.
I think he will too.
Okay, guys. Next one is the Coconut Man. And this one is Karen's, and the score is 24.3.
Hey, Karen.
Across this guy, he's got a big knife.
Yes.
Hey, Karen.
Yes.
Tell me about this shot.
Okay. He was actually he was on his break when I got there, and so all those coconuts, they had birds all over eating all the food. And then he came out and he was cutting, and then I went up and started talking to him. Then I asked if he would mind if I took his picture, and he said, no, of course not. And so, and you see he's got the bags behind him on the right with all the coconuts, and it was.
Yeah, I think you did a good job telling the story with the bags of the coconuts in the cart, the uncut coconut to his right, the coconut that he's cutting, and you notice the fact that this is not a candid shot of a guy cutting coconuts. He's engaged with you and posing, and this is a portrait.
Okay. All right.
If he wasn't looking at you, if he was trying to cut the coconut while he was looking at you, that would have been dangerous.
But I would have gotten the shot.
I do have a question when you keep saying about not doing what he's doing. When we looked at pictures before of environmental portraiture of that guy painting in Ybor City that you sent in, Jim, there was a picture of him. He wasn't looking at us. He had a paintbrush. He was looking at his paint.
If you actually listened during the video when Robert made that shot, he actually talked about how that wasn't an environmental portrait when he took that shot, but it was something that he was doing at the time to give to the artist as part of the body of work. But Robert even commented that as he was making that it technically wasn't an environmental portrait, but he was going to go ahead and give the artist a photo of him working on his work.
No.
Okay, I don't remember that. I mean, I was with you that, but I'm not with you. But I mean, watching that.
Yeah, I think I actually even asked that question when I was of the questions I was asking. Is I specifically asked the question: should they be doing what it is that they normally do in the environment? And the answer was no. They need to be in the environment, but they should not be doing what they normally do because it is a portrait rather than
that's exactly
a setting shot.
But that's
I was wondering.
Okay.
That's what you're saying, that everybody, the ones that I've seen with the lower scores, they weren't doing what they were supposed. I'm very confused because like, this is a great shot. This is the perfect depiction of it. But I don't know. It's like
because Diana, there's a lot of different aspects of it. It's not just one issue that's causing them to score low. It's engagement. It's actually what the environment is. So there's a lot more than just one thing causing an issue.
Okay. I'm not trying to argue. I'm just trying to get clarity.
I'll let you just explain. Next one is.
If I could, a question for the artist on that last one. Was that natural light or did she use flash?
Natural light.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
You're welcome.
Nicely done. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a very good example of what the assignment was about right there.
Finally, I scored.
The next one is outdoor photojournalist, and this is Lee Wynn's score was 25.2.
Mm-hmm.
Dang. That is one hell of a camera.
The processing is outstanding on this. The black and white and the black and white look on this is really well done.
Lee Wynn, how cold was it?
minus 20.
Oh, jeez.
Where was this, Lynn?
That's in the Arctic Circle.
Oh, wow. Oh,
yeah.
Arctic.
Yeah, well, in Canada, but Arctic Circle. So he's a photo outdoor photojournalist from Australia. So we've
Yeah.
been together a couple of days. So I kind of say, I need to do this. Can you post for me? So I didn't tell him what to do.
Was he part of your group or was he just?
Yeah. We have 7 people.
Oh, so you did a photo tour up there?
Not photo tour, just the expedition.
Just a regular tour?
Yeah.
Could I ask a question about the photo?
Sure.
To Jim and Robert, would it have been more of a portrait if she had him not in the act of looking through the camera, but looking at her and kneeling?
Yes, that would have.
Because it doesn't seem to me to meet the true criteria
that
of
would
the
have
environmental portrait.
That would have gotten it another point from me.
Okay, I mean, it's a wonderful photograph. I mean, absolutely wonderful. But we've talked about this on all the other photos, and he really is not looking at her, engaging with her.
Yep, that would have gotten it. That would have had gotten more points from me had that been the case.
Okay, and I purposely asked him looking that far away direction. But now I learned we're saying, but another picture you will see that I asked her, we look at each other. Okay, you will see next one.
Yep, you guys hang out with the pretty people.
Next one is called Base Camp Chef. It's also Lee wins, and the score is 24.9.
Love that.
Yeah, this is same place. This is in the tent. So so the chef cooking in the tent. Yeah.
I love the lighting on it.
Yeah, there's a window, from outside. Yeah.
Did you sleep in tents there?
Yes, but we do have a heater.
Oh, hell, I would have been in the heater.
No, this is very nicely done.
Thank you.
She's engaged with you for sure on this one.
Yeah, this one is very impactful, and the detail throughout this photograph, and as well as the softness of it. I'm almost there, meaning I love the depth of this image.
Thank you.
Expect her to move.
Next one is Nancy and baby lemurs. This one is Natalie Smith, and the score is 23.1.
Natalie, help me find the lemur.
It's right there.
Oh, I see it. No, I want help finding her left arm.
Yeah.
That's a very awkward pose. It almost looks like it's amputated. It almost looks like she, at a glance, it looks like she only has one arm, which is it's a very awkward pose.
I don't know if Natalie's here tonight.
Natalie's not here.
Yeah, I don't think so. The lemurs are back here. There's like 2.
Yeah, I see the lemurs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in terms of portrait, she's engaged with Natalie, and she's definitely in her environment.
Yep.
It's kind of a crazy environment, but she's in her environment.
Yeah, it's like I say, yes, she's engaged, she's in her environment, and and it's just very awkward with that left arm.
Right here looks very strange. Next one is dancing warm up, and this one is is Fong's, and the score is 21.9.
Which, dancing warm up. Yes, it's a candid photo of a dancer warming up, and it's so tight that the environment is gone other than the floor. This is a snapshot of a dancer warming up. It is not a portrait of a dancer in their environment.
So it would have been better if we had seen more of the practice room, like the mirror and the bar. Right?
Yes, and if it were not a candid shot of a dancer warming up, but a portrait, the dancer posing in the dance studio for a portrait.
This first, unfortunately, I cannot find the video on the website. This is my friend's dancing class. So this have a environmental, just many parents in here, so mess up, and some equipment with, so I didn't put it in. I cut this. So I know, now I know what is I have something with environmental picture. I take 700 many qualified picture I didn't put in because I miss up this.
Next one is graduation. And this is also phones, and the score on this one is 21.1.
Yes, I know. Now I understand.
Yep.
And this one is not, and doesn't look like it's in focus. No, yeah, no, it's not. So your eyes are not in focus.
Okay.
Next one is busking in Rockport. And that is Diana Cahill's score is 22.7.
This is a pose portrait engaged. What I would have liked to have seen is attention paid to the light falling on the face with the shadow of the cap. Adjust the subject's head, have them lift their head, tilt their head. There's the shadow of the bill of the cap coming across the face leaves a really, really hot spot of light on the nose there. When you're working with somebody and posing them, especially in outside lighting, it's very important to work with, especially when they're wearing a hat, work with them. You see that other piece of light spilling onto the right cheek that's kind of awkward over the nose. You have the leeway when you're working with someone and posing them for a portrait to work with the light. And lighting is very important in a portrait. Work with the light and get pleasing lighting on your subject, especially on the face, if nothing else. The other question I have is, it looks like there was some adjustments done to this, and the crop was kind of missed on the top and the upper right.
That was my question.
Yeah, something's happened right here. It's like there's nothing there.
Yeah, it looks like the crop slipped out of place or was misaligned.
Is this Natalie's photograph?
No, this is Diana Cahill.
Diana Cahill, is Diana with us tonight?
Yes, not.
No, this is Diana's dad. She can't make it tonight, so I'm listening in for her.
Okay.
Okay, you're going to accept the award, right?
Do you see here what we're talking about? Diana's dad.
Oh, yeah, tremendously.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't explain it.
Yeah, this shadow on his face and his nose is really too bright. So yeah, just like he said, just move his head around. He would have had a little better shot there, or his hat.
Yeah.
Were you with Natalie at the time?
No, Diana.
No, I was
Diana.
Not. No, I was not with Diana. No, I wasn't. Not this time.
All right.
Thank you.
Next one is snipping the fruits of her labor. This is Diana Rouse, and the score is 24.3.
Well, for all I've heard you say so far tonight, Diana, I can look at this and see that you got it. This is an environmental portrait. You got it.
Nailed it.
Now she's quiet.
Yeah, from everything you were saying earlier, that I thought, oh no, but this is your image, and yeah, let's go back on the tape and erase everything you were saying earlier.
The only thing that bothers me with this is she's squinting so bad that you really can hardly see her eyes. So I'm not sure if there was some way you could have gotten her where she wasn't squinting quite so much.
I don't mind the look. I understand what you're saying. The soft light though on her is not harsh. I'm more looking at the entire photograph rather than just her face. I think she's given me a pleasant look. But I understand what you're saying, Lynn.
Yeah, but also I looked at that too, and it's the overcast light, and I realized, okay, well, she's not squinting from the sun. That could just be her natural expression. In which
That's
case,
what I
you
was
know,
thinking.
if that is her I don't see a reason why that's not necessarily her natural expression, which then is fine for a portrait, because I don't see that it does not appear that she's squinting from sunlight. That could be her actual, her normal appearance. So I have no issue with that myself.
Yeah, if you look at her eyebrows, they're lifted up, and usually when people squint, the eyebrows are down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep, good point, Jack.
Diana, words?
Oh, Diana doesn't have any words. You know why? Because she scored a 24.
You know what, Lynn? Remember I had sent you one because I started working on this a long time ago because I didn't know how I was going to be doing. And like you told me, like the first couple of ones I sent, she had sunglasses on. I'm like, okay, I can't put the sunglasses on. Then she had a hat on. No, you got to take your sunglasses, you have to take your hat off, because I was noticing I couldn't get rid of the shadows. But I'm working in a tiny, I was literally sitting on the floor, and it was really tight quarters because the beds are very next to each other. She's president of the garden. It's a garden cooperative.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I'm going to tell you, Diane, that I'm going to say this out loud. Who cares what tight quarters? What matters is that you've delivered the goods.
Yep, you got it.
Thank you. Yep. I'm going to shut up now.
Good job.
Yep. Next one is testing sunscreen coverage, and this one is Chris's, and the score is 20.2.
Chris? Is Chris here?
Yeah,
I'm here.
Talk to me, Chris. Please tell me what you want me to know.
What?
I had actually taken a whole bunch of other shots, and this was just something that we ended up playing around with kind of at the end. And when I went through all of my other shots, they were garbage. I didn't like any of them. And so this is what I went with.
This is the question I have. Okay. Well,
yep.
Number one technical issue I have is the eyes are out of focus, which is disturbing. But the other question I had was, I was trying to figure out what is the environment. Yeah. There's not enough visual clues in this for me to know what is this environment where sunscreen is tested.
Yep. I agree. You're right.
Okay.
Part of the learning process.
Well, what is the environment?
They do clinical research, and it's just one of their testing rooms that they had. And it's looking through this device that they have, where like when you put on sunscreen and rub it in, you can't see it on the skin by looking at it, but under black light, it fluoresces in that kind of purple color. You can see along the edges of the face and the ear and a little bit on the neck, which is what the normal skin would look like without the sunscreen. And then the sunscreen areas are in the purple.
Oh, okay.
Looking through the device, it's in a dark room.
Okay. All right. I understand what's going on now. Thanks for the explanation.
Yep.
Next one is his happy place. And this one is Sylvia's. And the score is 22.6.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm driving now again, so
okay.
It'll be a minute for me to look at this.
This I get it. The musician and the environment, the overall lighting is very even, very flat throughout the image. This is something that I would have liked to have seen some more processing on. Lynn, is it easy for you to do something like throw a little vignette on this, burn down the edges for me, or use a radial gradient and give me kind of a spotlight on the subject and burn down the outside. Just give me some more visual impact, some don't, without so much giving everything in the everything in the room the same visual weight, as the subject with the same even lighting. So
See that, Sylvia?
that's kind of going in the right direction. It. Yeah.
It's a little dark around the edges, but
Yeah, it's a little dark. In reality, like I say, there's some techniques I show sometimes where you can burn down the edges where it's not an obvious, an oval or a circle in it. You can do a rectangular, burning of the edges, which but this is the idea of what I'm proposing is not giving everything in the room the same, the same lighting, the same visual weight as the subject. Give us a little focus in the image, on the subject. Give them a little more prominence and importance through some processing there.
I see what you're saying. Thank you. That's good.
May I ask a question of Sylvia?
Sure.
Sylvia, is Manny a musician?
He is. Well,
And are those groups that he's played with in the back?
Yes, they are. On the behind him are several bands that he played in over the years, and when he was younger, pretty much now he plays for me and for himself. But yeah.
Good. Okay.
I like the way you framed him with the piano, the cover of the cranks. I really like that a lot. And I'm just curious, Lynn, when you put that radial, if like talking about what Jim was talking with the burning of the just certain edges, if you did that radial on a diagonal and just colored in the edges, is that kind of what you're talking about, Jim?
Yeah. What would actually look better in something like this is that it would take more time, but if you did, it would in a Lightroom it would require like 4 gradients, brought in from the 4 sides to burn it down. But there's a way, it's too much time to get into it right now. But if you remind me in some other session, I'll show you. Anybody that has the Nick collection, there's a tool in there that you can use to burn the edges, in a more traditional darkroom style.
Right. Is that okay?
Which Lightroom actually doesn't. You can't reproduce that in Lightroom.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, our next one is Stuffed Animals Are My Life. And this one is Jim McWilliam, and the score is 23.3.
Yeah, nice framing, nice composition, nice placement of the elements. It definitely qualifies as environmental portrait. Yeah. Technically, there could be some more things done to it to improve it, but it hit the mark.
And Jim, she doesn't find you repulsive.
What?
We can't hear you.
She does not find you repulsive.
She doesn't find him repulsive.
I had to pay her.
And then we have these trees are my kingdom. It is good to be king. This is altered reality composite. This is Jim McWilliam, and this is 20.4.
This cat finds you repulsive.
It's a pretty rough compositing job.
The tree is in focus and the cat is not.
And there's it's a pretty rough cutout of that cat.
Yeah. Yeah, I knew that. I struggled. But I gotta try, I like to do things so we'll have something to discuss.
Yeah. Yeah, I know you guys can see this right here along the edge here. This is where, what he's talking about, the cutouts are pretty rough here.
There's some techniques, and you got to put some time and effort into hair and fur when you want to cut them out right.
So
it looks like chicken paws there in the back.
Yeah, it's best to avoid hair and fur when you want to do a composite. It's a lot hard. It's a lot harder.
I was determined to do an animal one. And
You just wanted to do an animal. Okay, last assigned is, what's this one called? Ready Fighter 2. This one's also Tom's, and the score is 23.6.
Yeah, very intense look, great portrait. The visual impact on this one is very strong. Love the black and white processing on it. Please spot the lint spot off the shirt though. Ugh. But other than that, this yeah, thanks. But
What's the title of this one, please?
Ready Fighter 2.
Ready Fighter 2.
Fighter?
Fighter.
Yeah, Fighter.
Fighter.
Okay,
Fighter.
I'm looking at that and I see nothing that makes me know that that's a fighter.
The punching bags in the back.
Yeah,
But you can't really, okay, kinda to me. But
Yeah,
it
there's
could be a lot of things.
yeah, you can see the ring on the left, the boxing stuff. A little bit in that context, a little bit less of the soft focus on the background would give the background a little more context, so that as you say, an uneducated viewer would pick up on what the background is.
Yeah,
but
I'm saying I because you have the title and I've been in fighting gyms and stuff like that, but if I just looked at that and you hadn't given me that title, that wouldn't have been the first thing that came to my mind. I mean, it's a good portrait. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy the portrait, but
again, one of the reasons why titles are important. Titles can help you, or titles can hurt you if you do them right or wrong.
But I'm just saying, to look at that right away, I would not know that was an environmental portrait.
Yeah, like I say, if you didn't understand what that was, from the title, or recognize the stuff, being, not understanding, that the soft focus gives you less information to work with for the environment. That if it were more in sharp focus to understand that, for an uninitiated viewer to know that that's a boxing gym with going on in the background. I understand what you're saying.
I love the intensity and stuff in his face and that, but
the intensity on the guy's face, like Jim said, is great. I mean, the visual impact is great.
I agree.
A little bit of a distraction to me with the lights coming out of his head. It should, I think they probably, if that was gone, I think it would have been a little bit better.
Yep. All right, guys, this is all the assigned. Let's take a quick 5-minute break, and then we'll do, we have about 12 or 13 more to go, and we'll be done. So we actually should get done before 9 o'clock tonight. Yahoo! So go ahead, let's get back here at 8:25.
Eileen, if you have a chance, could you show me where's the video on website?
Video on the website for the environmental portrait?
Yeah, I cannot find.
I thought I sent you the video. Here, let me get in there. Hold on a second. Shoot. If you go on the website and you see this little thing right here,
yes,
click on that, and then over here, all the videos are right here.
Oh, go ahead. Okay, got it. Okay.
I mean, all the videos that we have that are public. If it's something that I sent you, that's private, like one of our, which this one, the environmental one was public because it was, it wasn't one of our special presentations. So that one, it will be over here. But if it, just FYI, the special presentations will not be on the website because you have to have the link in order to see them, because I don't want everybody and their brother looking at them, because we paid for these people to come. So oops. Anyway,
Lynn, could you give me my score again, please?
Okay, your score is 24.3.
Okay, thanks. Did you ever get a chance to look at that leopard thing I showed? I
I
sent.
totally forgot about it. I'll take a look at it when I get.
That's okay. I'm just curious why the crunchy, where the crunchy came in.
Yeah, I'll take a look at it.
I know you're busy.
Ugh.
Did you take over?
Hey, Lynn, do I have to show you my airline ticket for next month?
No, it's okay. You can thank Sylvia.
No, you have to show me your ticket.
Oh, hey, Lynn.
Yeah.
Hey, Lynn, can you hear me? I don't have you on screen right now. I'm doing something else. But can you tell me the name and artist on the musician at the piano?
It was me.
That was Sylvia.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd love some help with that and pointers.
Well, since we might have time, I'm going to get it up and get it up on my end and share my screen at the end with you if we have some time.
Yeah, because I didn't even put a vignette on that. I don't know why, really. I was
Okay, I got it. I have the original. That's what I needed to know. All right.
Robert, did you pick up your daughter?
Yeah, I have her right now.
Okay.
We're on the move.
Hey Jim, I have a question. If I'm going to be doing that pole photograph again for my brother, is there a particular way I can improve on that for the class?
Speak up. I'm having a hard time hearing you.
I mean the photo on the pole for those guys. I'm
Oh,
doing
okay.
it again. Yeah, I'm doing it again this month, and I was wondering, is there a particular way I could improve on that?
You're doing the sky replacement in Photoshop?
Well, if I don't have to do the sky replacement, I won't. But that particular day, it was pretty humble. But yeah,
Because there is, and I want to do a session on this one night. I'm thinking about doing one of my potluck sessions and covering a couple things, in another week or two. And that's one of the things that I've been wanting to cover is there is better ways and less than better ways of doing sky replacement, and that's one of the things I want to go through is show people some things you don't know about sky replacement that help make sky replacements look much better. Because I actually do a lot of sky replacements, and I've refined some of what I do with it, and discovered some things with sky replacements that really help with making them work better.
That would be great, Jim. Are you going to be doing that photo phone camera thing?
I'm going to be. There are several things that I want to do. That I'm kind of waylaid with any of that right now. With the fact that I'm moving out of the studio, I had to. Right now, until I find another place, I got a big storage space, and I decided to clean out my garage at my house, which was a big project, and move everything out of my garage into a storage space so that I can get as much from the studio into my garage, and then some overflow into that storage space. So I've been working on that project, and I've got to work that in with my other jobs, and it's a big project. And this kind of sounds like a Brian story, but as I got started on the project, I broke a tooth, Went to the dentist, got some antibiotics because they can't. What's left of the tooth that has to come out in a couple of weeks. The antibiotics didn't work. I got an infection. The whole side of my face swelled up, and I was in excruciating pain while trying to do all this. They had to change my antibiotics, which eventually worked. And in the middle of moving stuff, the hydraulic lift gate on my truck broke in the down position on the road.
Oh, jeez.
And I had to get that up, and I had to order a new circuit controller for it, which it turns out the 2023 electronic circuit is completely different than the 1999 electronic circuit for my 1999 liftgate. And they sent me 5 pages of schematics on how to rewire the entire system to accommodate a 2023 controller on a 1999 liftgate. So that was fun.
My God.
Jeez.
But I'm back in business now. My liftgate is fixed, and yeah. And then when I got the liftgate fixed, I found out I had a flat tire. So, but
Other than that,
liftgate's fixed, tires fixed, and tomorrow I'm at the studio starting to haul stuff out of the studio with the truck tomorrow.
It is so depressing that you called that a Brian story.
All right, let's get back out here. We got some more pictures to do. This first one is called Pretty as a Picture. It's Diana Rouse, and her score is 22.6.
22.6?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay, I want to hear it.
Well,
Bring it on, Jim.
I don't have any real issues that I'm looking at with this image. This I think the composition is nice. It's technically well done. The nice blurring of the background. The bird jumps right out. It's not over processed. I don't have any real nitpicks on this image myself.
No. Yeah, and don't forget, guys, the scores on the general side are going to be slightly lower because you get an extra point for all the ones on assigned. So
That's right. You don't. The general scores don't reflect that bonus point that assigned images get.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind.
Yep.
As Lynn says.
That still would have only been a 23.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm going to shut up.
Robert, did you have anything to say on this one?
Not yet. Hold on. Go to the next one. I'll come back to this one.
Okay. Next one is Catching Some Z's. This one is Jan's, and the score is 23.5.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
That's a very well done architectural abstract. That's for everybody that's thinking of what they're going to do for I believe that's August, correct, Lynn?
Yeah, somewhere.
Yeah, this is a prime example of what you want to be doing in the August competition or exhibition, I should say.
I think September.
September, yeah. Yeah, for that month's exhibition, this is a prime example of what we're looking for.
Can she withdraw?
Thank you. Thank you.
I know she would have got more if it was assigned.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is beautiful. Yeah, and you don't have to go any place exotic to do this. You can run around downtown Tampa and get these kind of images all day long.
Yeah,
and as the light changes, you can stand in the same spot. As the light changes, you get a totally different look.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Next one is Chippewa Flowage County Road. And this one is Brian's, and the score is 21.9.
Do you have the original, Lynn? You got the original there, right?
Yeah, that's the original.
Yeah, just zoom in on the original, click like over to the little dock on the right or anywhere. That's the most resolution you have? That's as big as you can go on that?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, look at those rocks on the shoreline there under your hand. Yeah, look at that. It has a just a very soft, hazy look. It's not sharp.
Brian?
No, I don't know. I guess I'm gonna have to look at it.
Yeah, it doesn't look like
yeah. Look at the original, but at least whether what I don't know about the original, but what's submitted, what we have to look at here is not sharp.
Yeah, I was just trying to see if there was a spot anywhere, and I don't see a spot that looks. It almost looks like the sharp part might be back here on the tree.
I had as much resolution as you. I didn't know if you had any more resolution than I had to look at. But it has a. Hey, Brian, let me ask you this. Or Lynn, do you have the details there? What's the focal length on this? What's the focal length?
181 millimeters.
181, so almost 200 on a crop sensor. Okay, was there possibly atmospheric haze that was distorting your image with the long focal length shooting across the water, where the atmosphere itself was distorting your image? Is that a possibility, Brian?
I'm trying to look right now quickly. I mean,
were you shooting across a long expanse of warm water?
Yes.
Okay, that can cause you some problems, because the actual rising air rising up off the warm water and the long distance of rising air that you're shooting through with a long telephoto lens, the air itself actually has lensing effects that will defocus your image, and that's a possibility that could have happened here.
Now, I'll have to say this: I have it open in Lightroom on one monitor, and I have the screen share on the other. And the version I'm looking at is much more vibrant than what I'm seeing on.
Oh, this is calibrated. I calibrated it today. So what is calibrated monitor?
Yeah, and I'm not. Yeah, I don't have any issues with the with the colors. I was just just getting at the the
softness.
It's kind of a hazy, glowy, kind of a distortion to it, which made me wonder, is it that mirage effect where you're shooting through, rising warm air with a telephoto lens, across a long flat surface. Same thing happens in desert environments and really big open fields. If you're shooting at ground level, this can be an issue that can happen to you.
Don't go forward. Go back to Diana.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I had spilled trying to get out of the car with my thing. I had spilled stuff all over my screen.
Oh, jeez. Brilliant.
Okay. So I'm sorry I couldn't address this earlier.
Okay. Go ahead.
Let's take a look at this photograph. And you're wondering why the score is what it is. How much of this photograph is of the bird? How much of it is of the branch?
All right.
So my question becomes, why do I need so much of that branch in order to give me a little bit more on the left on the crop? Yeah, I need, and I'll end up taking something out, but I don't need that other branch in there. And you're giving me way too much information. Your background is great. Your colors are great. Your composition was completely over too much. And the bird is static. It's a beautiful bird. However, if you want to get something more other than a portrait of a bird, is have the bird do something. It's a beautiful shot. I grant you, it is. Beautiful colors, beautiful everything. But that is part of what happens here at the Camera Club, is that we've become accustomed to such great, beautiful images. Now we need more. Give me something that the bird is doing. Make it more exciting. Doesn't mean that what you have is not great or good or any of the likes.
So in essence, unless a bird or an animal is doing something, don't bother submitting it. I mean, that's
no, it's not the matter of don't bother submitting it. Don't have the expectation of a 27 is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't. Okay, I'm yeah, forget it.
I'm not right or wrong. I'm simply stating an opinion.
I'm not, but I'm saying that some things should, and I'm not saying this particular picture. I look at some of Llewellyn's shots, and they're beautiful, and they're striking, and she's who I like to emulate and stuff. I'm not close to it, but the point is, sometimes you have a picture of a beautiful bird and it doesn't have to be doing anything, and it
I
could just
agree
stand
with
on
you.
its own. And to penal, I mean, look, I'm not getting paid for these, so it
No,
doesn't.
that's not that you were about to say to be penalized. You were not penalized at all.
You are penalized because the bird wasn't doing something.
I'm not penalizing you. I'm saying that if you want more, give me more.
So I'm
That's not
saying,
a
then
that's not
basically a bird
penalizing.
on a stick, a bird on a stick is a bird on a stick, and you're going to get.
But how much of the stick did you give me?
I gave you a lot of stick.
Right.
Anyway, I'm done. I'm fine.
The stick is bigger than the bird, Diana. That's part of
I know, I understand that, but I tried the other crop too, and it just looked weird.
All right, now let's go to
Looked like he
Brian's
was
image.
stuffed. That's why I didn't do the crop.
Let's go to Brian. Brian, on this image, what are you giving me? What are you talking to me about? What are you telling me on this particular image?
I'm trying to show fall colors, and there's a bridge in water, and I mean, I don't know exactly what kind of answer you want to that.
Well, what I'm asking for is what do you want me to know? Is it the fall colors? Is it the bridge? Or is it the water?
I'm trying to put you in the scene where I was and see what I saw, and I don't know.
And
limited.
Therein lies the problem with this job with me, is that I have everything that you've given me has equal weight. And anytime something has equal weight, it becomes dismissive. Why? Because my eye is having to look at a whole bunch of things and say that on this particular stage, they're all the same. So if nothing is the primary, even though I see a lot of colors, I see a huge bridge going through those colors. So is it the bridge? Underneath the bridge, there's a lot of dark area. What's underneath there? Then in the foreground, there's a lot of very light tones of the water. So that's commanding my attention. The blue in the sky contrasting against the reds, that's also commanding my attention. So all of these things are commanding my attention at the same time. And just like when you go to a restaurant and there's too many things on the menu, what you do is you go to the next page.
So let me ask it this way, because I'm listening to what you say. So if you had the opportunity to buy a house where my camera is standing, you wouldn't buy it because it's an ugly view because there's too much to look at?
I didn't say that there's an ugly view. I'm saying that what you've given me is a whole bunch of things to look at, and that they each command the same amount of information, attention.
So what's the solution, Robert?
Prop up and down? Is that what you're thinking?
No, I'm saying that this shot is not working.
Well,
just because the shot is there doesn't mean that it's going to work.
I think what he could have done in this same spot, I'm not trying to see, I don't know, that I mean, basically that gives us a little bit less water.
I think I would have just kept it like the way it was, but just cropped it down from the sky, maybe up from the water a little bit. I don't know if that would be.
Yeah. I know what Robert is saying. Robert is not saying fix the picture. Robert's saying submit a different picture.
Absolutely. That's what I'm saying.
Well,
100%.
But I guess my question is was there any way he could have made a good shot out of this, not this particular image, but if he was standing there, what should he have done?
Okay, here's where I want you to go with this. Take your crop tool.
Mm-hmm.
Come, start on the left-hand side, left-hand middle. Come all the way in until you get to that, past the bridge. I mean, come past the opening of the bridge. Go, keep going to the right. Keep going, 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 keep going. Stop right there. Come down from the top. A little bit more. Good, right about there. You see that, go ahead and enter. You see that bench there?
Oh, yeah, the bench.
That's my focal, that's my start point. That gives me something to land on and then to go forward and enjoy those colors.
See that, Brian?
I'm kind of confused because, I mean, to me, the original photograph, I would love to have that as my front yard. It's a beautiful scene, and just, I mean, I don't understand why a beautiful scene can't be a good photograph.
Then put me a house in front in the foreground of this picture.
Well, no, I'm talking about, I'm looking out my front, my living room window.
Put me a window in this foreground.
Okay.
Give me something to start. I have no place to start.
Okay.
I didn't even see the bench until we cropped it, to be honest with you. Now I see it.
Colors are great.
Yeah, the colors are pretty. All right, let's move on. The next one is Alter Reality Working the Midway. And this is Chris's. And this score is 20.8.
Zoom in on that, Lynn.
Yeah, it's very out of focus.
Yeah, there's motion blur. It's camera motion. What was the shutter speed on that?
One 120 one over 125. But it's at 0.5, so it's a very
You would think. Yeah, it's surprising to see that much motion blur. It was just really shaky or in motion. Something happened, but there's definitely motion blur. In that, as in camera shake, and that's not a bad shutter speed. You wouldn't expect that.
The background doesn't look that out of focus, like behind them.
Look, go down to the bottom right-hand corner, Lynn. Yeah, see? There's motion blur there. There's camera shake.
Question. Was this a heavy crop?
Chris?
Yeah. I think there was a fair amount of crop in that. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, because it's 18 millimeters, so it's pretty. It looks like it was cropped a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, a little heavy crop.
Which magnifies the which magnifies the fact that you can see the camera shake by going in on the tight crop.
Yeah.
Next one is Stairway to the Light. This is my image, and the score is 23.8.
I want to know, Lynn, why didn't you do an HDR on this one?
Why didn't I do it?
Yeah.
Because I didn't think I needed it.
My only concern is that where the star is, just to the just behind that star, that little blob right there.
The clipped area there.
Yeah, that clipped area.
There was just no way I could get that to come back, and I don't even know. I may have done some. I think I did do some exposure bracketing here, but it didn't help.
Okay, that's my concern.
Yeah,
the darkest exposure still had it clipped. I get it. That's a there's a cloud. It looks like there's a cloud there that is just that got lit up, and I know those are tough sometimes in that situation where you get that you get that cloud that just turns into that white blob at almost any exposure level with no detail in it. But the composition is beautiful.
And I only point that out, Lynn, is because to whom much is given, much is required.
I know. I just wanted you to see there was a little person right there too.
Yeah.
I saw him.
Oh, yeah, I see that now.
Yeah. He always wants something at the end of the trail, and so there was the little person.
Yeah, there was actually two things at the end of this leading line: a person and the sun star.
Oh, I waited and waited for this sun to get in the right place, and I was freezing my butt off. And finally, it came up like, "Hey, thank you. Now I can go back down." And the next one is Tampa City Cityscape. And this one is Jan's. And I'm sorry, this is Jim Hagen's. I'm sorry, went down too far. And the score is 22.7.
Yeah, I recognize that spot, Jim.
Yep.
That was a nice spot.
Yeah, no, that's nicely done. You got you exposed really well for the buildings, especially that SunTrust building, with the blue pyramid on the top. That's from that location. That's hard to keep the detail and the color in that, and not have that overexposed and put a big glow in the sky. I know you you did well with the exposure, and the detail there.
I think I would have darkened this thing up over here though.
Yeah, burn that down.
Because it's brighter than everything, pretty much brighter than everything over here, and it definitely pulls my eye over to this corner.
It's funny that you mentioned that, Lynn. I have an online tutorial where I took from this spot. I took the scene and did an online tutorial of nighttime cityscape editing, and edited the image start to finish in an online tutorial. And that was one of the steps, was burning that down for that very reason.
That is actually,
Are you revealing where that's taken from? Or is it a secret?
That's the bottom end that's the west end of the Platte Street Bridge.
Okay.
I wish I navigated by west and east.
Next one is Urban Jungle Print. This one is Jan's, and the score is 22.3.
That one's nice, but it's overshadowed by how much nicer the one with the Z's is. It's had one or the other been presented alone, but then when you present both of them and one of them overshadows the other, it just has that effect where we look at the other one, then we look at this one and we're like, oh, that's nice, but it's not the other one.
Okay. I like the title on both of them. The Z, I didn't really see the Z, and the title made me look for it, and it was there. And the jungle print, I think the titles are great.
Oh yeah. Yep. Yeah, I like the title works with this. The jungle print, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Very pretty.
Thank you.
Next time, don't put two of the same thing in the same.
Yeah, I guess so.
For yourself.
Next one is Reflections, and this one is Karen's, and the score is 22.9.
I like the strong emotional impact I got when I saw this. There's you don't necessarily know what the story is, but there's a story there. I felt an emotional connection to what's going on with the subject there. I would like to see the word fragile disappear from this image as a distraction, because you see the word and you want to read the word, and it takes you out of this compelling moment.
Although it can add to the moment if you think about it, because he could be fragile.
Yeah. See, I agree with that. I thought that fit. I thought that fit because
it looks fragile. I'm sure Charlie wouldn't want to hear that, but
yeah, right.
I was initially confused by the title. I was expecting to see a mirror or a reflection on the water, and now I realize it's him reflecting in his head. But that wasn't immediately apparent to me.
There's reflections on the glass, on the window, and then his reflection. Yeah.
Yeah, I liked the title, and the duality of it. That yes, there's literal reflections in the glass, but also I get the idea that the subject of the photograph is mentally reflecting on something. I can look at this and make up my own story about, this person is reflecting on their life or reflecting on recent events, and that this person, seems, deeply involved in their own thoughts at the moment.
Or he's depressed because it's his 40th wedding anniversary.
That's Charlie, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
But the reason I took it was what I liked, and Robert knows this for sure, the hand. I loved the way the light was on the hand, and that's what I first saw. And then when I got down and started taking it, and I saw everything else, but I started with just, oh, I like the hand.
Yeah, very, very nice that you chose a black and white treatment for this and removed the distraction of color from it.
Thank you.
Aaron's too deep. You're so deep.
I agree. I like the fragile because it is kind of a fragile pose. It's not one of strong. So I'm with you, Karen.
I don't want to be too
Thank you.
here. All right, next one is Wait for Us. This one is this is Nona's score is 23.8. This is great.
Yeah.
I wish I could get to see one of these. We don't have baby little birds like this that hop on mom.
That's a great shot.
Yeah, that's very nice.
What kind of bird is that? Did you say?
I think it's a merganser, but I'm not sure. I think it's a merganser.
Yeah, I think so too.
But the reflections are all perfect.
Yeah.
Yep. The composition, the
color,
panoramic crop on this, works very well. The muted tones, the dark around the edges with the subject popping out in the center there, that looks really nice.
I like all the interaction between the little kids on. Yeah, this is really a great one. Next one is Hotel Girls Night. This one is Diana Cahill's, and the score is 23.1.
Yep. Great story. This is one where I wouldn't have even needed the title to get it. The story is there. Love the details, in this that tell the story. I really like that.
And she's sitting there eating chocolate. I love. Oh, she should have another hand a cocktail. Robert, anything on this one?
Just straighten up the line.
Yeah.
How about the headboard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Headboard's crooked.
Yeah, I realize that's a headboard. You take it, you shoot it at an angle, and you're going to get an angle. I do like the placement of the pillows with the with the head and that the face falls mostly within that gap between the pillows there, and gives you that strong outline and lets you go right to the eyes, and see the gaze in the eyes.
Is Diana Cahill here?
No, just her dad.
Her dad is here. Is the dad still here?
Yep, Paul, I'm still here.
Paul.
Yes.
Tell Diana that don't send me these great photographs and then send me the other photograph.
Okay, I'll pass that along.
Please.
Yeah, this is her cousin.
Yeah, that one's very well done. Yep.
Yeah,
the lighting.
She'll be proud. Thanks.
Lighting is beautiful.
Yeah, she needs to give this
Yeah.
to her cousin.
Yeah, who is also into photography.
Oh, good,
Yes.
good.
Yeah.
All right,
Great,
moving on
thank you.
to the next one, which is Gander Goose, and this one is Natalie's, and the score is 22.2. This is much better than her swans from last month.
Oh yeah.
Yep, improving. This is getting there. Yep.
Would you
The,
have darkened the area above his head?
The big white blob under it, could have been toned down.
And even above his head.
Yeah.
This one here. But yeah, she's got.
But it's improving. Very much improving.
Is Natalie here? Natalie's not here.
No, Natalie's not here tonight.
Okay.
Yeah, this was much better than the last week's when we had all the swans in the background.
Right.
And all the other stuff in the background. She's finally
Right.
getting the idea. Blur that background out. So
I didn't realize you could see through a bird's nostrils to the other
Yeah.
side.
You can see right there.
I
You
threw-
can you can see all the bird's teeth in this one.
Look at all those little teeth. Who knew birds had teeth? That's actually his sieve.
Sieve, what's the sieve?
He sieves through the ground, the mud. Sieve.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, the next one is Lake Superior on a cloudy day. And this one is Brian's, and the score is 22.1.
I like that sharp wedge of everything coming across the frame. I like that in the composition as a geometric element. The whole thing. It even works as an extension of those trees coming across there. I do like that. Brian, you've got a big dust spot in the water. You need to deal with that, but.
Oh yeah, I do.
But yeah, the composition. I like the flow of that shape across there. The entire shape, the foreground trees and the background shoreline connecting and extending across there.
Robert?
Yeah, this one has much more of an impact and is composed really well. Also, I have a foreground. I have some place to start, Brian, on this one, and then you travel backwards. So you gave me a water line that's not competing with the trees.
Yeah.
And then you give me this nice absolutely. You give me these nice black leading line that leads out into the water along and it's all backdrop with this gray clouds. So I don't see how you don't see the difference in
Well,
this does work. This does work a lot better than the other on many levels.
Well, that's very interesting to hear, because I was just going to say, it just seems like there's more of interest in the previous photo than there is here. Yeah, it's simpler, but it's, if you would have asked me, I would say this one's more boring than the other one.
It's about subtraction. Photography is about subtraction.
This is a much stronger image than the prior one we were looking at.
You've got to have interest, but you don't have so much interest that you don't know what the heck to look at.
Oh, if I were given a choice of putting putting one or the other on my wall, it would be no choice. It would be this one, hands down.
But you do think I had too much sky, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, I like what Lynn did with it. For the crop, that works well with that long wedge across there.
You see where I put it? Where I see what I did? I put the horizon on the third.
Okay.
And you came down below that bright spot in the cloud, which is I was hoping that you would go below the bright spot in that cloud up there. That's perfect. Yep, I really like that crop.
I did more work than normal on this in post. I really had to work to bring the sky out, and I really had to bring the work.
You did a good job, because sometimes when skies can get overworked, easy and look obviously overworked. But this one does not look obviously overworked. You did well with what you did with the sky.
All right, thanks.
Next one is Pretty in Pink, and this one is Sylvia's, and the score is 24.2.
Sylvia.
Yes, sir.
I think you need another club to go to there, because right now you're blowing this one out of the water.
That's probably the coolest picture of a roseate spoonbill I've seen.
And that was in the little pond in my backyard, and that little sucker's been hanging around for a week. I can't believe it. He comes and he stays there for a while and fishes and goes around, and then he leaves and comes back the next day.
You nailed that one.
Yep.
Sylvia, I don't want to hear your story. Go join another club.
Oh, I am not. You're stuck with me.
Don't listen to him.
That's right.
Yeah,
I want you to look at this. Now, the parts of the bird are not in focus, but what's in focus is the eye, and that's the most important part.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that was nailed.
Yeah. And then all this wonderful water in the background. I mean, let's see, what was the F or the she's at 1/2000th of a second. This is where you need to shoot birds at, is 1/2000th of a second. And that's how you end up with the important parts in focus.
Thank you very much.
That's a gorgeous shot.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Beautiful, just beautiful.
The colors work well. The complementary colors, the pink on green.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great complementary color combination. That's part of what helps it work visually.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it wouldn't be nearly as strong if it was against the sky. Actually, these colors do help it a lot.
Did you send that to denoise? Because your ISO is 5,000 and you don't have any noise in that at all.
Yeah, I'm sure I did.
Oh, and it's a
Don't
600.
not using denoise.
600 millimeter.
This one is called Racing for Cover. It's altered reality. This is Nona's picture, and the score is 22.7.
Do one quick thing for me, Lynn.
Yeah.
Eliminate that white spot at the top of the frame that takes you away from that lead horse and draws your eye right away from the lead horse's head. Yeah, well, that's, Photoshop would do better, but you get the idea.
Yeah. She added the snow.
Yes, I could tell that. That's the altered reality part. Yep.
And whose image is this?
Nona.
Nona's not here.
I don't think she's here tonight.
Oh man.
How did you know that was an overlay, Jim?
Well, it's altered reality, and that's you can look at the image and it's an overlaid texture overlay. I have a student that does a lot of this that I've worked with for many years, and you see enough of it and you know it.
Yeah, look between the legs.
Yeah. It's a little weird.
Because there's nothing there.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm just wondering how this would look. I'm like, kind of like it without the building better.
Yeah.
I would put a vignette on that.
Yeah, I'm okay with the original.
Yeah.
This looks a little tight on the right once you get past the building. Yeah, I don't have a problem with the original crop. That the building actually kind of balances that for me.
My agreement.
What, maybe bring it in just a little bit from the right, and it just seems like there's
Okay, that's fine. That's fine right there.
Yeah, that's better.
Mm-hmm.
Would you put
like too much on the right hand side?
Yeah.
Would you darken the edges on that to bring out the horses?
It already has some done to it. It's already been done.
Okay.
I think this is more about the mood than about having the
right
actual detail of the horses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely about the mood. The like I say, the main distraction for me was was that white spot above the horse's head in the frame, the gap in the trees, which is an easy fix.
Last but not
It's the one element out of place in the composition, which that dark look it is part of the mood, which is great, but that white spot takes you out of the frame and takes you out of that dark moody feel.
Last but not least, and it's only 9:04. Woo! Busy day on the water. This is my image, and the score is 22.2. I just liked it because it had so much going on in it.
Yep, there's definitely a lot going on. It also has a little bit of that mirage, look from the long telephoto look across the water.
Yeah.
So since we're going to be doing that for next month or the next month with the telephoto landscape, can you talk about that a little more? What do you have to look out for when you're doing a telephoto?
You have to look out for long, flat areas that are in between your lens and a distant subject in daylight, where the sun is heating the ground or heating the water and causing warm air to rise up off the ground in front of your lens. It's a mirage effect. It causes it causes distortions. The atmosphere is turbulent in between your lens and the subject matter, and it actually creates out of focus, areas in your image when you're at ground level shooting through that layer of warm rising air across, if you're shooting mountains across a desert basin, if you're shooting across a wheat field or something that's something very far away across a valley, if you're shooting across water when you're doing that, which is good that this came up for doing this, because I don't think that was brought up in the presentation by our guest speaker, that can be an issue to watch out for when you're shooting the telephoto landscapes.
So when you say by the off chance that I was actually be able to remember everything you just said and pay attention and think about it while I'm shooting, if you find yourself in that situation, are you just toast, or is there something you can do about it?
You can try taking a lot of shots and see if you hit that one point where you have stable air between you and your lens, and and hope you get lucky, or do it at a time of day before there is thermal uprising of warm air, when the sun is at a low enough angle that it's not heating the ground rapidly and causing the air to rise. So early morning, late in the afternoon, dusk, twilight, dawn, those times. But once the sun reaches a certain point, typically around 9 a.m. or later, then you get thermal updrafts from heating of the ground.
Can you also use it as part of your, intentionally using it as part of your?
Possibly, it could possibly be, you actually, you kind of almost expect in certain instances, to see this in shots taken in the desert. I'm sure we've all seen the shots of, the camel on the distant sand dune, but it's all shimmery and glowy and out of focus, and whatnot, because of that effect, it's become something that is visually expected in certain circumstances, but can ruin your shot in most circumstances.
So all Lynn had to do was contact all the people on those boats and tell them to come back the next morning and
I was just having fun with that one.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys.
Dean, is the last picture?
That was the last one.
Yeah, and Jim, you said you were going to show him something.
Yeah, if you have time, I can show you. I've got that picture up. I can share my screen, and I can show you, if you have Nik filters, the easy way to do it there. And if you don't have Nik filters, an alternate way to just do it in Photoshop that looks much better, much more refined than the Lightroom vignette. I hate the Lightroom vignette because anytime you use it, it's so obvious. You look at it and you say, "Oh, there's a Lightroom vignette."
Dean, this missing one picture. My picture is general picture is one girl wear Chinese traditional
Well, you
dress.
have three. You can't have three. You sent me three, so I'll only pick two. We are only doing two per person now, so that's why there's only two.
Follow the rules.
Can you guys see it?
Another is the general.
Yes, I can see it. We can see it, Jim.
Yeah, we can see it.
All right. So if you have Nik filters, which I'm still running on the free version I got from Google so many years ago, it's still working in my Photoshop. But if you got a version of that, the trick is to go to this group right here, Analog Effects. Hardly anybody ever uses this group of tools, because you look at this and you say, "Oh my God," and you turn it off. But if you go up here to this arrow, it opens up a panel of tools. There's a tool called Lens Vignette.
Okay.
Now, it starts out with a traditional round vignette, but if you want to burn down the edges, kind of like more in an old-fashioned darkroom way, see where it says circle and rectangle?
Right.
Yes.
You want to switch it to a rectangle.
Oh, cool.
And you want to shrink it in. And now you have more of a traditional burning down of the edges that's not that obvious circle or oval that you get in Lightroom. And you can go, both ways with it brighter or darker, but just, you know, you can kind of go subtle here.
I think
with
on
this.
one has that too.
What's that?
I think on one has that too.
Okay.
You can
But see what I
change
mean?
the
Here, see how this does not look like that obvious Lightroom, you know, stick a circle on it.
Right.
And you see how the attention is brought much more to the subject versus, you know, it having equal visual weight from the lighting with the rest of the room. Here, I'll apply this so you can just quickly see before and after. So yeah, before.
Oh, wow, that's really
after.
nice.
Oh,
And see, it's subtle, and when you look at this, it's not that in your face Lightroom, you know, effect. I actually use this a lot. This is a go-to technique that I use like crazy, actually. So that's one method. If you don't have Nik filters, here's an option that you can do. You can duplicate your background. You can switch your blending mode to multiply. Don't worry that it's too dark. It's adjustable, but just leave it like that to start with. Put a mask on it and get a brush tool. And the thing is to not give yourself a circle or an oval like Lightroom does, just kind of, you know, just roughly brush, you know, an area, and then take the opacity of the multiply blended layer. See how I went back to 0? And now I'm just going to gradually bring it up till I see the edges darken a little bit.
Oh, that's good.
And it's kind of subtle. See that?
Yep.
But there again, that's not that obvious Lightroom, you know, perfect circle or perfect oval, you know, going on, you know, obvious situation. And I would even take this and back off the mask a little bit. And I think right about there. So there's a before and after done strictly with layers in Photoshop without, if you don't have the Nik filter, but it's so much more refined than Lightroom Vignette. I hate the Lightroom Vignette. I never use it. It's always so obvious when it gets used. So there you go.
When you're saying you don't use
Thank
the
you.
light, are you talking about putting the radial filter and inverting it?
Yeah, the Lightroom Vignette tool, or, you know, if you use, you know, the radial filter, if you play around with it, you can be kind of subtle with it, but the Lightroom Vignette tool, and you really have to play a lot with the radial to make it look subtle. But like I say, in this case, what was done here, it was just a rough random brushing, which takes it away from that obvious. Your eye really, the human eye sees circles and ovals and stuff real easily. So if you get away from doing a circle or oval when you do it, if you make it kind of random or you just burn in those edges rectangularly, it's much less noticeable to the eye. The human eye and human visual perception really keys in on circles and ovals.
So do you think that vignettes are needed at all in a lot? Let me ask a better question. How often do you think it's worth the effort of doing what you just did and putting a vignette on?
When I want to bring a certain part of the scene to the viewer's attention and isolate it from having the same values visually as far as brightness and, you know, contrast go from the rest of it. Like I say, you see, without that on there, it's flat lighting. Everything is evenly illuminated. Everything, you know, there's, you know, this just gives you a little bit more visual direction and visual concentration on the subject. Yes, that background is still there, but when you look at this, your eye goes immediately there, you know, and you know this, you clue in that this is visually what's most important. You know, everything is just evenly lit and flat, you know, it's just flatly lit here.
So it's fair to say you don't do it routinely on most photos, you just very selective, or?
I use it a lot. I use it actually very, very often as a subtle technique to to draw the, as Robert said, you want a starting point in the image. Remember, he was talking about the other images about, a starting point and going there. This is one of the ways that I will guide the viewer to a starting point in an image. It doesn't have to be dead center. This could happen in any point of the image, which also, if you're using the Lightroom vignette tool, is hard to do. But if you use the radial filter, it's a little easier in Lightroom to do it in different areas. But I do this in a lot of images, and I mean a lot of them. And it's subtle. You wouldn't necessarily look at the image and say, "Oh, it's been done," but you just, it helps guide the viewer's attention. But you have to be subtle about it. You don't want to be in your face.
Jim, can you show it on the
like that? That's in your face. That's obvious. You see that? You want to be subtle about it, but that's subtle right there. You wouldn't necessarily look at this and know. You wouldn't consciously know that it's been done looking at this, unless you saw that and saw it happen.
Can you show that filter again, Jim, please, in color effects?
Yeah.
I mean, analog.
Not in color effects, it's analog.
Yeah, analog. That I corrected.
Yep. Here you go. It's filter, Nick collection,
analog effects program.
Analog. That's what it is. And right here, there's an arrow. A lot of people don't even know this arrow is here. That arrow opens up a toolbox, and the tool is the lens vignette tool in the toolbox.
Okay. And then you make it square.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's really nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like that. And there's you got a little before and after checkbox you can do here if you want to compare.
Yeah.
See that?
Yeah, it's really nice. It's very.
But because it's not a circle or an oval, it doesn't catch your human visual cognition that keys in on circles and ovals like that.
Right.
Awesome. Nice.
Yeah, back in the darkroom days, they called it burning down the edges. As opposed to a vignette. A vignette versus burning down the edges was two different things. So there you go.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you. Thank you.
I would love for you to do another potluck when you have time. I used to love.
I want to, I really want to do one in another week or two. I'll announce one because the sky replacement thing is one of the things I want to cover, and there's a couple other things that that I'd like to show and show people and help people with.
Awesome.
Thanks a lot, Jim.
All right. I enjoyed it tonight. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good week, everyone.
Stop sharing your screen, Jim.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh,
Excellent.
yeah, let me find that button. Okay, there.
Hey, guys. Good night.
Bye,
Night.
everybody. Thank you.